I think it was about 2006, and we had been at this for about 17 or 18 years at this experiment that we call Seacoast Church. And God had blessed us. It had been good. There a lot of life change, a lot of growth. But I was feeling just dry inside. And I felt like our gatherings were somewhat dry. And that probably was just a reflection of me. But it sent me on a journey to kind of figure out how do I experience the presence and power of God in a very real way, and how do we do it together? How do we process what God is doing in us during the preaching of the Word and the reading of the Word? And I went on my own personal journey of, God, how do we experience your presence and your power? I went to a monastery in Scotland. Long story, won't get into it. Went to a little monastery and saw a cross in a corner in a desolate place, and I sensed the presence and power of God there. I went to a Catholic cathedral that had long since ceased to function as a church in France, and yet there were some candles, and I went over to the candles and I sensed that there was something going on there. I went to a friend's revival meeting here in the United States, and they called people forward, and I went forward to be prayed for, and there was a sense of the presence and power of Jesus there. I went to an Anglican church, a friend of mine, and received communion, and there was something about it. There was a sense of the presence and power of Jesus there. And so I remember telling everybody, you want to be here on such and such a Sunday. I think it was Father's Day in 2006. And I said, you want to be there because some things are going to change here. And you need to understand, we never announce change at Seacoast because it makes, about 65% of the people irritated because they kind of like the way things are. And so, but I said, there's going to be change. So we had a big crowd, a lot of people came, and we laid out the response time that we do now. And we looked at Isaiah and how Isaiah talks about the fact that oftentimes in our worship, our lips are worshiping God, but our hearts are far from it. And I did a message on that and talked about the fact that I thought God wanted to astound us with His presence during our times of worship, both before and after the message. And so we changed things that week, and we've been doing it in a similar way for how many ever years that we've been in existence since then. Probably more since then than even before we made that change. And what I've noticed is that God meets us in individual ways every weekend during our response time here at Seacoast. We're able to process our emotions, whether that's at a cross or in lighting candles as intercessory prayer for friends, or it's being anointed with oil and prayed over by prayer teams and elders, or it's giving as a part of our worship. Just so many ways on the weekend as we receive communion together, we experience the presence and power of Jesus.